think the pickup of Royalty is definitely a good pickup. He's a very underrated player, and he's very aggressive, which is, I think, that's what E6 needs. Ruiz, he kind of slowed them down a little bit, but with their new pickup in Royalty, I feel like they're just super aggressive and almost reckless play style, and I think that could cause a lot of issues for any team, including us.
With E6, I think we'll take it 3-0 both series. That's the goal. It's just 3-0 everybody, so that's the only goal that I have in mind.
I think it will probably come down to the S&Ds. I won't really give a map count. I'm not like that. It'll most likely go with full distance, I think.
We got to close out our S&Ds. We choked a 5-3 lead versus them. As long as we could just play our game and pose our own aggressive play style on them, then we'll win.
The aggression level is definitely increased because with Clayster, he was kind of like the main AR, and then now you bring in Gunless, who's more of a faster player. So now you have Attach, Zuma, and Gunless all running, kind of running around, and then you have Enable, I guess, sitting in the back, kind of being sort of the anchor. So I think they bring a lot more aggression now than with Clayster. Whether they'll be better or not, that's to be determined. I'm not really sure, but I think they do bring a lot of aggression to the team now.
Call of Duty Global Pro League action continues here at day 1 of week 2 with the final game of the day. FaZe Clan going toe-to-toe with Enigma6. E6 have been impressive. FaZe Clan probably needs to show a little bit more. So, Teep, I guess the question is, does E6 finish the day at 2-0?
Oh man, that's a loaded question, Ben. I really don't know where to go with this one. It seems like FaZe, they were really close in that series in those respawns, specifically versus Ghost. There were some glaring issues where they're out slaying and not able to pull out those maps. I think they're gonna start playing better as this weekend goes along. I think they will iron out those kinks. For some reason, I have FaZe taking this one. It's going to be darn close, though, in a map 5. I think it's going the distance.
Interesting. I'm surprised you said FaZe, especially after kind of that first game. And speaking of that first game, Merc, from a player's perspective, I mean, what was that post-game discussion like, do you think?
Yeah, so I mean, this is just something we were talking about. I think it's a little bit different. It's a different situation because typically what happens when a rising star just sort of gets onto the scene, he joins a team of veterans, a team that was winning.
Right.
It's kind of the opposite. Gunless was on a winning team. They won an event this year. He joins this FaZe roster, which is filled with talent, but they haven't won. So if I'm Gunless, maybe you're taking the lead. Maybe you're saying, hey, this is what my old team did. This is how we won. Let's try to implement these changes, try to replicate that, and then use our talent to make that even greater.
Momo, quick look at the maps there for this one. FaZe Clan versus E6. Thoughts?
I mean, straight away we're seeing some of the same maps here coming up for them. I mean, Throwback S&D was FaZe's second one against Ghost. They lost that 6-4. I know Teep's kind of edged towards FaZe. I'm edging towards Enigma6 on this one myself, but I do agree with him. I think we could be seeing the full 5 maps come into this. FaZe, I think, just need to step it up or just one more gear in their respawn, and they can really kind of elevate their game. They can be a great team here, but I think Enigma6.
FaZe could potentially finish the day at 0-2, but the final game of the day about to get underway. We can send it down to the fabulous Maven and Courage for the cast.
Thank you, gentlemen. It'll be interesting to see if FaZe can rebound. I'll tell you what, I got to go get food after that series. Before I was able to walk from here back to where the catering is, FaZe were already on PS4s, already starting to warm up and play to get ready for this next series. So, I mean, obviously they're frustrated, but they're back to the grind immediately.
That's how Gunless has always been, though, as a player from this year. We even saw when he got eliminated back in Stage 1, they were still playing. They were still participating, still getting involved in warming up. Or maybe not eliminated, just they were done with the weekend. Their matches were complete. He was still warming up. Either way, though, warming up and whatever can't help you win games that you really should close out. When you think of that hard point we saw earlier on, where they lost that one by 6 seconds to Ghost Gaming, stuff like that. They cannot afford to give up. It was on this map as well, breakout hard point.
I talked to Ghost guys a little bit. This is a conversation Analysis has had and pro players have had. Like, why is FaZe in those situations where they're out slaying but not winning? I don't think it's I don't think selfish is the right word, but there are times where you shouldn't play your life. You don't want to have stagger spawns. You need to kind of throw your body to the wind and attack a hard point. They don't seem to be willing to do that, whether it's on someone like Attach or Zuma. Like, who's that entry guy doing the dirty work, like a Classic, like a Karma? Who's that guy?
Yeah, and we were also talking about, too, in the break, you and I. It's interesting so far in just the first series, seeing how much of a different role Gunless has had to play from what he was super successful with on the side of United and now what he's playing with in FaZe. I mean, look at what he's now had to do. No longer having camo in S&D from that first series. Was predominantly running an NV4 at times during the first hardpoint that they wound up dropping. Just seems a little bit awkward from him. We'll see how that changes as the day goes on. Right now, it is a 14-10 lead for the side of Enigma6.
Yeah, maybe it's just a little bit of nerves getting back in the swing of things, and there's a lot of pressure on FaZe. We'll see if they're able to turn it around. Enigma6 on the other side of things was fantastic to kick off the day. High expectations for this team to qualify into the top 2. And like they mentioned on the desk, you know, if you can come in, Ghost Gaming, also Enigma6 going 2-0, the pressure on FaZe just continues to grow exponentially throughout the weekend.
Fantastic start for Enable here at 7-2 on a 4 streak, still on the hard point as well. Still watching out for General on this backside of the map. Can't clean up the kill. Both players one shot, but there's Proto for the help, as Enigma6 had broken on through as they'll look to retake the lead.
Thankfully, they're not going up against a Mox this time around. Yeah. Dropping 43 kills against him. 2 teammates double negative, but he's going so positive that you're almost even in the slaying category. FaZe now does have to go up, though, against the likes of General, a Proto, who's currently on a 4 streak. General's going to be the first man to rotate now over to Graveyard. One to deal with. He has tagged up Enable. There's going to be a pinch coming through. Enable still alive somehow, but finally cut down. Nice little tandem, a little duo play there from Royalty and General.
Royalty recognizes the timing window he has, the opportunity that he can push towards Cave and not be shot in the back. He does just that, helps out his teammate, and because of it, they do break on through, but FaZe charge back with gunfight wins of their own. All started from the 2-piece from Gunless. FaZe down by 10, but with this hold, they should be able to take back the lead.
A Scarab was out, pushing into Medical Bay, trying to back up the players of Enigma6. Zuma playing the kind of that close, sneaky spot there in the gray pit. Attach hovering mid-map, and Enable going to deal with the pressure as everybody's starting to come over the top. Wow. Good job clearing it so far.
Proto so high up in the sky right there. Doesn't actually work out for him. Enigma6 still trying to just contest this last bit of time. Nice help from Gunless there. To secure FaZe Clan the scrap time, they'll now be up by about 30 seconds as we move towards this new hard point. And they're already set here too, Maven. Nice little play from FaZe in these last 2 hills.
Yeah, you share a similar spawn for Graveyard and also into Commissary, just trying to lock down that far left side of the minimap you see at the top left, just holding the helipad, and Enable continues to rip with that MV4.
Beautiful play right there. We talked about watching out for him and how good he'll be now as the main MV4 of this team. Well, shots like that will definitely help FaZe bounce back from the 3 respawn losses they had earlier to Ghost Gaming. Remember, coming into this series, they had yet to win a hardpoint or an uplink so far this weekend. Granted, that's 1 best of 5 that they've played, but still a pretty standout stat for a team like FaZe.
It certainly is. With the power, the slaying power, just talent on this team, you can't be letting that happen. But right now, they're well on their way to taking a game 1. Significant lead currently over Enigma6 has hit the 50-plus point mark. They're continuing to tally up time here as Zuma finds 2 kills inside a Commissary.
I feel like that's an example of a kill right there, Maven, that Zuma wouldn't have been able to get prior to his surgery. Zuma had to get a cyst removed on his right hand. His aiming thumb didn't just have the mobility as well as it just hurt when Zuma would play. So post-surgery looking like he can snap yet again. 123-44. FaZe have blown open the floodgates.
They really have. And this is, I don't think, how you would expect this first game to go. After seeing how well Enigma6 looks, seeing FaZe struggle, particularly on this map. Yes, it was close with Ghost Gaming, but I am surprised to see them out to such an early lead, but we know the potential's there. They'll figure it out.
The potential is there, but I also talked about this with Matt, where this is a team that and Enigma6 who just faced Elevate earlier. Elevate played 6 maps today. 5 were complete and utter blowouts. How badly can you really judge this Enigma6 team from that?
That's true.
FaZe, they face a tough Ghost Gaming, a team that looks cool, calm, and collected. Won 6 of their 7 maps today. FaZe, I think, have the better warm-up coming into the series.
Oh, yeah. One team was basically playing Money 8s. Another team got a nice tune-up to get into this next series.
Yep.
The lead now over 100 for FaZe Clan. Wrapping around the back is going to be the tandem of Zuma and Gunless as they're trying to locate kills around cell block. You can see one player from Enigma6 is wrapping around the outside wall run. There's now a 1v1 that should be happening momentarily here for Zuma. Able to win it. Now get to a safe corner here as the pressure continues to fly in from Enigma6. Oh, almost picking up all 3.
It's incredible watching Zuma, especially when inside the hard point, how much he just loves to keep himself not ADS, not aim down sights. He just waits, looks to try to snap onto somebody, instead just kind of holds those doors with the hip fire, ready to left trigger in when he needs to. Keep an eye on that as this map continues to go on. It's one of the things that separates him from other submachine gun players.
Well, I think players learned that back from Advanced Warfare. When you had the dash, you couldn't L-trigger as much. You get caught by it, and in this game, I think the slide's pretty similar. In that sense, it's you're not fast enough to keep up with that quick slide if it goes across a close range.
That's an example of a kill that Royalty has to start getting more often. Cuts down Enable right there across the wall run. Proto, this could be a game-saving play for his team if he can wind up getting a couple kills here. There's one not cleaning up attached, though. Did he buy his teammate enough time to get towards the bulldozer? I do believe so. Cade is here. Last challenge is Attach, and Attach wins the 1v2. The two-piece there will swing that in favor of FaZe, and Maven, that's an example of a couple kills that completely change how this map plays on out.
They really do. The first one, he just trades effectively, stays alive, and continues cruising through Graveyard. Zuma comes up through Spiral and finds a couple of kills for himself, and now Enable's back in a little power position where he's got a good angle on anyone pushing from the front, but there's a split spawn that comes through. Now, General and company hitting from both sides. Can FaZe Clan hold on? So far, Zuma and Gunless still getting it done inside. Royalty, last one here, the one-on-one gunfight, and Zuma goes big.
Zuma now 21 and 15, still on the hard point as well, nearing 1 minute in the objective time. FaZe have gotten the clutch kills they need, Maven, on this hard point so far. They've gotten a full 60, but look at how close Enigma6 have been to not only getting the first setup, to getting continuous breaks. Players just winning gunfights in the hill have made all the difference.
And I think, you know, talking to Enable on Hot Mic, how I guess hyped he is about Zuma. He thinks he's going to be back to form. He thinks he is. And I think we've seen flashes of that just already this weekend. I know FaZe has not looked great, but Zuma in particular seems to have something spicy again.
I want to check something real quick. If we can pull up the big scoreboard in the middle of the screen, look at the amount of defense so far from both of these teams. A lot of gunfights going on inside the objective. We can go ahead and drop that now. There have been so many contests between both of these teams, but again, it's just FaZe coming out on top.
Yeah, they are. And, you know, when you've got that slight edge for Enigma6, it hasn't really turned into much time. They've won it towards the tail end of a hard point. And when they've had their early rotations, they haven't been able to hold for long. Now you've got 30 seconds remaining. You need to get all 30 of this or the game's going to be over. You've got to lock it down. You need perfect hard point from here on out.
Yeah, FaZe going for an unorthodox back catwalk push, and Enigma6 are just not ready at all for it. They get a quick 4 dead. And I think that's going to do it, Maven, for this map. They won't be able to win off this hill, but either way, being that close, 246 is a score they'll be at. Should be enough that no matter what happens on these next couple hills, they'll be able to close the door here.
And you have a tough game from a couple guys on Enigma6. I think General certainly stands out at 11 and 17. We know from a talent perspective, he's the one that can, I think, most easily go toe-to-toe with a team like FaZe Clan. When you're coming down to just raw gun skill, you don't get enough out of him.
I think every player on Enigma6 gets outplayed by their counterpart on FaZe this map. Simple as that.
And this would be this would be a big rebound win. If FaZe comes in here, let's say they 3-0 Enigma6. Do you forget about that Ghost series a little bit? And whether you're a fan, whether you're FaZe Clan, it's got to shake it off.
Oh, definitely. All eyes were on that first series. People wanted to see the debut of Gunless. Arguably the second best player of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Didn't go as planned, but you know how much pressure was on that team in that first series.
Well, they just need 6 more points here to take the game. They haven't been able to do it yet. It looks like we're probably going to see cell block, but you do see Gunless getting set up for the next rotation. He's spawning his teammates in the back, so they'll be set up here for the push through for Enigma6, and they're lining up a couple. One left in off the wall run. That's General as Attach closes him out. As soon as the hard point shifts over in a couple of seconds, that should be game 1 to FaZe Clan.
Beautiful two-piece there from Gunless. The man looks so confident when he has a K-bar in hand. GG. FaZe win their first respawn as a team with Gunless involved. And I think the biggest difference is the hat now facing forward for Gunless. Series 1, it was facing backwards, and people were saying he's got to go back to forward hat Gunless. Makes all the difference.
Well, one thing, at least the game mode they did win, and where Gunless is very good. 11 and 4 in the game 2 search and destroy. That's where you expect him to help the most. Now at least you're going into that with a 1-0 series advantage. You get up 2-0 in this, you're feeling incredible about FaZe in this particular series. But like you said, first respawn win under their belt, something to work off of.
And that was a solid respawn win. That wasn't anything frantic. They did what they had to do. Everyone being involved, everyone having quite a good game. That's everything you could ask for if you're a FaZe Clan fan, in order for them to bounce back from their first series earlier.
And that's why there is so much expectation behind FaZe. Every player, the ability to make individual plays and find those multi-kills. And you saw it, whether there was a two-piece from Attach, Zuma, to break a hard point, to hold a hard point. You saw everybody do it at one point.
Yeah.
That's the reason they've been a top 3 team throughout the world. They can do that typically relatively consistently. Not in the first series today, but you saw a bit of it there in game 1.
I mean, think of that. That was almost a 100-point club coming into that final commissary hard point. And there were no real streaks for FaZe. It wasn't like payloads won in that game. It wasn't like streaks made all the difference. That was just straight up playing hardpoint better. But majority of that victory comes winning gunfights in the hill, especially at that Graveyard Hill. Go back and watch those to see exactly how they were able to get it done. Zuma led a lot of that charge.
Gunless, the newcomer. They're looking at him here in the search and destroy up next. And on the other side, you see the boys of Enigma6 looking to tie up this series at 1-1. They come into this series 1-0 after an easy victory to kick off the day. Proto, he was brilliant in the first series of the day. They need him in a big way, especially in search. We know how good he can be, specifically when talking about his ability to find first bloods on the map. They'll need that.
Most certainly. As we get ready to load on through here, Royalty, what can you do to shut down some of the strong S&D play from the side of FaZe Clan? You think of Gunless, you think of Attach, aggression from Zuma as well, and then Enable with that NV4. He's no S&D slouch either, Maven. Where he got critiqued most was, again, his poor S&D play from one of the more recent events compared to what we're used to from Enable, which is like a 1 plus KD in Search and Destroy.
Yeah, well, he had overall his stage 1 was horrible, and I know there were some excuses tossed around, some frustration certainly from him, but it was a very uncharacteristic result in the stats department from someone that is one of the more consistent guys.
Yep.
You expect him to turn it around in stage 2 for sure.
There's a look at Proto on your screen. FaZe getting ready to go here. Interesting to see Gunless finally in a jersey. Fits him quite well. The long sleeve here in the arena. Remember, tickets still on sale if you want to watch some of your favorite teams here in Columbus, Ohio. MLG.tv / I believe events is your main landing page. Go get Champs tickets. Go get, this week's tickets. Go get next week's tickets. Go get the week after tickets. Go get the week after that tickets. There's so much Call of Duty to be played. My mind is still, can't really wrap my head around it.
Champs, man. I am pumped. If you haven't bought tickets yet, do it. You can hang out with Jack and I. We'll take everybody out to dinner Sunday night.
That's not true.
I'm expensing it.
And you're fired.
Adam Abicelli, you watching?
You are fired.
There's going to be a $5,000 dinner Sunday night at Champs on your old buddy Mave.
This one's from old buddy Mave, as he brought out.
To clarify on broadcast, there is no chance I'm doing that.
Oh, not at all. I actually would laugh to see you try to submit that. Either way, General with First Blood will open things up for E6, a very similar strategy to what we saw earlier from them on this exact map. Already a 4v2.
Gunless was 1 bullet. He's now gotten his health back, trying to back up a couple players here, but in a 2 versus 4, him and Enable have to go clutch. You wish you had Attach in this situation. He's had some of the more famous 1v4s, 1v3s. Now it's all going to be on Gunless. He's able to find 1 kill. They throw a second body at him. It's Proto that closes it out, and the first round goes the way of E6.
Immediately, Enigma6, they go ahead, they challenge right towards that back market area. And with those triple NV4s, force the player out of power positions because they just have guns already pre-aiming those spots. They tag them up, and because of that extra added protection, they can just flood right upfield and go for a quick plant.
FaZe will be on offense this time. Can we go to Proto just to kick things off? Because Proto, I just know he is so good at getting first bloods, and he may be finding one here. He pushes up, misses the shots. He probably should have had one, but he will end up picked off. 2 kills go to FaZe Clan, 3v2 advantage. General trying to put it back in their favor, tags one up, but not able to finish it. Royalty, the last man had a chance.
Look at how little health Gunless just had. It cleans him on up, doesn't get much closer than that. We'll see it again. Hectic plays as all 8 players storm towards middle. 2 bullets are the difference as Gunless secures that round win for FaZe.
I think the second FaZe player, too, was half health or below.
Yeah, no, both players were basically one shot.
So definitely coming out of the wire there in round 2. But here we are tied up at 1-1, starting off with Royalty this time. Some nades out over the top to back up FaZe. Doesn't connect, but General's NV4 does.
General flies high above the underpass wall, hits those shots, and then Enable beams just as hard with the NV4 right there onto the player on sidewalk.
General gets a call out or some nice timing there as he wraps back to the bottom ticket stairwell to put a second kill in his name. General currently working on the ace in this round. Enable and Zuma left for FaZe.
And look at the long rotation General's going on. FaZe are not going to expect this at all. He's down to a 2-on-2. They know no one's on this bomb yet. General will spot one. 3rd kill this round now onto Enable. It's Zuma all by himself. And there's no time left. Ace for General.
Big 4 kills in that one for General to put the round in their favor. Zuma, you get that first kill really quick. You would have had to just note exactly where General was, snap on him there, and maybe you can outgun him. But fantastic round from General. I mean, that's from the get-go, right? He gets that opening first blood and just carries it on from there.
And there's really no reason to ever expect General to be on that side outside of the first gunfight win he had against Enable. Really easy from then on out. General and Royalty, a combined 10-3 start from them. 10-4 start from them, sorry, on this map.
Well, Proto's going to go ahead and back it up. Enable, your NV4 player. set up at the bus. General now trying to, or sorry, Gunless getting it planted and able to back up with his life. Scarab gets taken out as well. You've got too close. Zuma, a little bit of a bait and switch action. He's weak to finish. Just barely gets the headshot there after getting tagged up. Another first blood for FaZe. Can they turn this one into a round victory?
Royalty still trying to be the one to swing the tide in his team's favor, but it's just not going to happen.
How is he still alive?
There's no time left. FaZe will take that one 2-2. Great communication, Maven, from FaZe to just say, we have to kill this guy off the site. It is as simple as that. Zuma hears he's weak and hits some beautiful shots at that E-Rad up close to pick him off that cover where only his head could be seen.
Shot of Royalty right now, not able to get much done there in that 1v3 scenario at the end of the round, but he's having a hell of a game. 6-4 over to General, who's 5-2. Cade and Proto not too involved in the slaying action so far in this search, but the big thing is General's your camo player, and look how close he is already in round 5.
Just trying to spot whatever he can towards Lemon. FaZe give up a free plant. And Enigma6 have all the time in the world to rotate to where they want to be.
You see that number 3 on the minimap. That's going to be General, who's going to start to flank around. The question is, does the timing work out where he's able to catch some FaZe members off guard? First blood does go to Enable. There's General, just a bullet away from finding a kill.
Gives away his position, and it's for nothing. FaZe have spotted the other 2 as well. They know where these last guys are. No one's still on the bomb. Proto just trying to dance around. Not going to happen. FaZe, they go for a slow retake play around the Scarab, weakening Cade for that first blood. In full control there. Very even stat lines from both sides right now. Zuma really the one making the difference for the side of FaZe.
And Zuma had a fantastic game 1 as well. Continuing that momentum here in our best of 5. If you're just joining us, welcome. It's our final series of day 1. If you're not familiar with how it plays out, it's double round robin. The 4 teams playing each other twice. At the end of it, comes down to record. Who's going to be top 2 and compete in the stage 2 playoffs, which is God. I mean, it's these 4 weeks of competition, playoffs right after that. What, a half a week to a week break, and then $1.5 million for champs.
$1.5 million. Gunless with the FTL jump. We're used to seeing him rock camo. Now FTL jump. The payload abuse will earn him that Trinity rocket. What did he have, 11 kills in FaZe's S&D earlier today? Now 7 with a streak in his second.
Yep, this is where you expect him to go huge, and he's doing exactly that so far. He's going to be sitting around, what, 2.5 KD, somewhere in that department so far. And that's another round for FaZe, 4-2. And I think that's why, like, I know obviously they're going to be taking some flack after the first series today, but I just feel like this is a team that should get it figured out. And if they improve in search, where they've been wildly inconsistent,
listen,
I still think this team's going to be terrifying down the stretch.
That first series, if they win that, all the kind of jokes and hate immediately goes on over to the side of Clayster. They lose that first series because of it. All the jokes and hate goes to the side of Gunless. It's just because all eyes were on that first series to see how he'd perform. Now they're obviously improving with the potential for a 2-0 series lead if they're able to close out this S&D, but Royalty and crew have other plans.
Yeah, nice shots from Royalty. I mean, those were gunfights we saw him struggle with in a game like Advanced Warfare because he plays that high sensitivity, but just beautiful shots there to win it. Attach last man up. Around now for E6 as they're trying to claw back in.
4-3. Definitely not out of his head if you're E6. You've also stopped Gunless from earning his bombardment, but he does still have Trinity Rocket, and he's already used FTL jump for 1. So some tools not there for FaZe, even though they had a lot of potential for him. As we'll now move into round number 8. FaZe up by 1.
This is, what, 2 search and destroys for Gunless. He's gotten streaks in both. That's a pretty good start.
That's 100%.
Yes, it is.
Average.
Math.
Zuma still rocking that Centurion. Closest to the site. Royalty just gets spotted on the hyper aggression, and both players are punished for it. That is not going to work for Enigma6 as they're down to a 2v4.
Nice kill by Cade, though, to try to bring it back in their favor. He's going to be by his lonesome now. He does get the clutch kill with the grenade, but he will get dropped. And now FaZe 1 round away from a 2-0 advantage in our final match of the night.
I swear, when I saw Gunless earlier today, he had no facial hair. And now in 4 hours, he's almost grown a beard and a mustache.
So call your 5 p.m. shadow?
I don't know how
guys make that up. something, Shadow?
Did we get shots of Gunless from earlier today to now? I think him putting the hat forward just made his facial hair grow 5 times as fast.
The cold. All right, on board with General. He does have camo to go with here. You got to expend it to get around victory. Obviously, none to give at this point for FaZe. Just trying to get eyes over the B site.
And look, they're going back to the strategy that has worked for them so far this weekend. Play more B heavy with triple MV4s. Force players out of the positions they want to be in.
They've gotten control for now, but it is going to be Trinity rockets coming through. You don't even need the rockets. Everybody's dropped. By the time we get out of this, everybody's going to be dead. Cade's still here. Has to clutch a 1 versus 3 to move this game to along. Some nice shots to finish one and gets away with his life. 45 seconds on the clock. This is still doable. Bomb in a scary place in Barn, though.
Those were actually incredible shots, especially when the player had that rear guard, which can soak a bullet.
Don't over peek. I thought for a second, man, he hits those. Gunless was vertical long enough. He could have cleaned him up.
He'll re-challenge again. FaZe, remember, if they win this map, they'll be up 2-0. Gunless is ready for it, 6-3. Forward hat, Gunless is now 2-0 in maps, as FaZe are on the verge of a 3-0 sweep of E6.
We'll see it from his perspective. He was 1 bullet, but he gets the final one in. Nice shots there to get the final kill. Like you said, 2-0 advantage.
Wow.
And maybe you haven't won the series yet, but at least if there was any kind of, I don't know if panic's the right word, but just kind of feeling the pressure, maybe a little stressed after that first series loss, I think just getting the 2-0 lead kind of pushes that away a little bit.
I'm sure they saw some of the craziness that went on social media. I even tweeted something that probably fired them up as well. So FaZe, they look like a new squad now in their second series. They've calmed themselves down. They're playing as I think a lot of people would expect them to play on the main stage.
Well, FaZe looking in the day 1-1. Maybe they get it done with a 3-0 sweep here. It's Uplink up next. We'll see you in a couple minutes.
gonna go all the way back into Season 2 relegation. It's back when we had Swanee on Epsilon, and I was kind of brought in as like a new player who didn't know anything. Like I was kind of like, who is royalty? But I was friends with Remy. Remy trusted me. So then we went on to get 4th at UMG Dallas. We beat Optic that event as well. Then we went to Season 3 playoffs, was our next notable like a big event, and we ended up getting 3rd there. We lost to Optic in the winners bracket finals. And then after that event, it was kind of like a downhill spiral for me. I got dropped from Epsilon. I wasn't really given a reason why. And then leading into Black Ops 3 now, I kind of got picked up on 100 King Poppy, which later became 100 Thieves. Didn't have a lot of success there. Then after that, I joined with Allegiance. It was me, Mochilla, Exotic, and Remy. And then basically we got top 16 at champs. We made a roster change, picked up Sinful, got 4th at Vegas. Then like what happened in Black Ops 3, kind of just went downhill. We didn't do too well later in the year, and then I was performing pretty well, so I guess E6 kind of just saw that, and I was lucky enough to get this opportunity. ALG was a really good team. I enjoyed playing with them a lot. I know Remy's a really good player, but it just came down to like people just weren't performing at the events. We just got everyone on the same page. We could have been in the pro league even right now. The whole ALG team was a bunch of like my best friends. I was kind of like the outsider, I guess, going into E6. It was kind of awkward because I was teaming with friends for so long. They ended up being really cool, so I mean, it ended up working really well. So I enjoy being here, and I'm excited for the future with them.
I once lost an S&D to Royalty in Black Ops 3 where he only used a wrench.
That's a real story?
He had 14 kills. It was against myself, Proofy, I believe Clayster, and Attach. I'm not kidding.
That's embarrassing.
Welcome back to the coverage of the CWL Global Pro League Stage 2 presented by PS4. I'm a professional Call of Duty caster. We're ready, though, for Game 3 between FaZe Clan and Enigma6. It was great to hear from Royalty. Good to have him back now in the CWL Global Pro League. The guy's an explosive player, but you heard he's had his ups and downs. The one thing that has remained consistent is typically on every team he's been involved in, I would say he's kind of the standout star player throughout all of those lineups, throughout his time on 100 Thieves.
He's always been a flashy player, and I think that resonates with fans, casters. Like, he's always been that guy. He plays really fast. He's enjoyable to watch. He's fun. And I think what stood out the most, though, from that interview, I like his attitude. Just like the way he views it. He's like, I got lucky. I'm fortunate. This is an opportunity to be on Enigma6. Yep. You know, maybe even views like, hey, they took a gamble on me. I haven't had the best year, but I'm here, and I'm going to make the most of it. I like it a lot.
Well, here we go. FaZe, a little bit different this time around, as they're the ones up 2-0 in the series. Gunless quickly catches Royalty off guard. That's already 3 kills for FaZe, and Maven, they have a great opportunity to go for an early score because Gunless has already blocked the spawns off this back portal. This is a dunk. FaZe will get a 2-point lead just 25 seconds in.
Yeah, and this is a map where FaZe, they usually, when I have casted them, they always outslay their opponents, just whether or not they turn it into points. And Zuma, I know he's sitting at 0-0 right now, but I've casted many a game where he's dropping 30 to 40 kills. I expect him to have a solid one. And this is really just a great opening for FaZe Clan. 2-0 lead early. All right, welcome.
Proto, apparently, Gunless has camo already earned or something along those lines as he just gets back smacked. They'll just move forward this drone again. An easy 1 opportunity unless there's an interception from Cade. It will happen. That was actually, I believe, or did it fall short? I can't tell.
I believe it got picked off as you were coming through. I think it just mixed in with the color of the portal. It was kind of tough to see, but they do make the defensive play. General now, 5-2, are going to have drone in hand, but his top ticket, it's Enable getting 2. Enable getting all 3 from that power position, and you know that's the reason he wants to be the MV4 on this team. We know how accurate he can be and what a game changer he can be. That was fantastic.
I don't know, man. I don't see how you ever put any weapon in Gunless's hand other than a K-bar. A K-bar or a submachine gun. He just looks so much more confident. Whew, look at what he's able to do with this weapon. We missed the first half of the 2-piece. There was the second part of it. There's a third now on the General. Still staying alive inside this front statue area. He's kind of the lead blocker right now for this FaZe team. Finally, Cade does shut him down.
Hey, he's halfway to camo already, which is the big piece of this, right? He has a dunk to go with it. Very good start here from Gunless. Attach, patrolling lobby, just making sure there's no opportunity for any kind of offensive pressure from Enigma6, as they're getting steamrolled right now. I know it's only 2-0, but okay, this is their first opportunity.
This might be a dunk.
No, they're coming off a spawn. They should be able to cut this off. This will likely be an interception. There goes the toss. Oh, nope, doesn't get there in time. So the one-pointer does go through from Enigma6, and that's why you can't hesitate, right? You just have to go. They hesitate a split second there, that's probably a stop, right?
Yeah, an interception, I think, is definitely the way it would have gone. Either way, Enigma6, finally they catch their breath and they put on a point on the board because of it. As Proto still trying to do what he can inside lobby against 2 aggressive SMGs from FaZe. Enable with that NV4. I'm actually surprised we see him move like that. This General wipes everybody off the map.
Yeah, it's a back-and-forth battle, kind of between Enable and General as far as who gets the sort of opening kills from the opposite sides of Statue to kind of allow their team to get forward. You got a good chance here, 4 more points. Drone suddenly in Proto's hand. A little bit of a shake and a bake, and another toss is on through. 2 minutes left, tied up 2-2.
Beautiful stuff from Attached to at least force not only the one, but clear everyone out of his spawn. So it will be 2-2. Both teams have now showed some life, slaying quite even to this point. As the drone has been picked up from FaZe. They're moving towards this construction area. Attached, an unorthodox one. And he actually hits it. I'm surprised more players don't use that.
Yeah, usually you see it from the opposite angle, right, of construction. Nice job, good arc on it, and just barely goes through. But it does put FaZe back into the lead. And with 90 seconds left on the clock, it's now Enigma6's turn. Going to be a deep toss here. High up over ticket, and it is good. So some nice one-point tosses from either side.
Both teams showing that they've practiced the one-point plays in uplink, as you'd expect. Royalty with this ERAD keeping the pressure on FaZe inside lobby, but as I say that, it's Gunless who swings the tide. The man's now 13-8. He's on a 5 streak as well.
And he has the drone in his hand. He's going to be getting closer and closer to that all-important camo. Well over halfway there at this point. They can't get the toss away, though. Proto and Royalty get it done on defense. The reset doesn't matter, thankfully, as they clear everybody out. Good defensive hold from Enigma6.
I'm surprised Gunless didn't go for a throw there. Maybe he wasn't expecting Proto. I'm not entirely sure. Didn't get to see the minimap. Beautiful beatdown from Proto. That will give them a dunk. Enigma6 now with their first lead of the game.
And a chance for a spawn trap if they can win some fights here mid-street. Able to pick up one. Proto now the last man, so there'll be no trap for now. Drone has been tossed out to the bottom side of the map here. Enable getting set up at Statue, trying to look for an angle for any spawners coming through, but they've all wrapped towards the drone side, so he'll have to get over to help out his teammates. Zuma picking up one. Gunless there to trade out another kill.
Drone now in the hands of Attach. Will he have enough time to go for a throw? I don't think so. Nope. So that'll end the half at 5-3 Enigma6, babe. And I do want to say, currently FaZe outslaying the side of Enigma6, but they're down by 2. We talked about the stats. FaZe are the only team in hardpoint to outslay their opponent and still lose the map. So, all right, seems to be a recurring theme so far today at times.
It's true. I wouldn't be shocked again to see Zuma turn it around this second side. He only had 7 kills. Uncharacteristic from him in this map and mode. I certainly did.
You said you expected, what, 30 from him?
Yeah, I've casted it so many times where he just consistently goes off in this map.
Well, we know Enigma6, they've always been a strong uplink team, especially back in stage 1. Improving here. So they're now up 5-3.
Remember our key player matchup for the first series of the day, and Proto had so many more scores than the player he's going up against. Look at these, all 5 points right now for Enigma6. Doing it with the objective in hand, but now FaZe looking to strike first again in the second half. This is going to be a tie game, and now they've got a good trap here, yeah.
Yes, Enables with this NV4 needs to be ready to kill Cade there off respawn. He turned way too late. Turned way, way, way too late, and because of it, they at least have one player back inside lobby. They bought themselves some time to regain control of their base.
And that almost gets Attach killed as well, because he's flying over frantically to help out.
Look at the spawn they just got. They wind up spawning at top Statue. FaZe not ready for this at all. Cade might be able to go for one. He will. E6 back in the lead.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy. I mean, that's one of those spots that you kind of, if you take a look at the minimap or the FaZe where they are, that's what you live for, right? That's your bread and butter. That's where you get that spawn trap set up and you absolutely decimate them.
I'm surprised Gunless doesn't pick up the drone. There you go. Knew it would earn him camo. Was waiting for him to do it. Does he pop it as he turns a corner? Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Maybe now? No. Just settling for a 1. Nice play from him. Saves the payload for a later use.
He'll have it then if it's going to come down to the stretch. General, you can see a little bit of ways to go towards until he gets the camo with 3.5 minutes to play. He should certainly be earning it, unless there is some sort of devastating result for Enigma6 over these last couple of minutes. Proto was trying to make a play with the melee, not able to do it yet, but drone is still hot. Royalty has it in his hand. The 1-point toss is away. That is nowhere near connecting with the drone, and FaZe Clan for now live to see another fight.
Enable did use the FTL jump during that push from Enigma6 on a defensive stand inside lobby. So that's one payload burn. 6-6 now the score, 3 minutes remaining. Gunless has his active camo, doesn't go for the beatdown. The drone, though, pass right back to FaZe. This is still an absolute score opportunity.
At Zuma, he kills 3 there. There's still 1 player with the drone. It's in Attach's hand right now. That's a dunk. It's on through. 8-6 is the advantage. Just a tick away now from reactive armor. If he can find another kill, you've got a lot of utility now building for FaZe Clan and a lead to go with it.
Attach is still in a great position as well. Camo from Gunless. This should be a 2-point play. They might not even need to use this payload. How are they getting these scores?
Yeah, no need. You still had Attach there to soak up bullets. Let him just cruise on through. That's what 2 scores we've now seen with camo available, and he's able to just save it. It becomes scarier and scarier as the clock dwindles now for E6.
Scarab does nothing for Proto. He does have overdrive. 2 minutes left. 7 points from Gunless, 23 and 19 on MVP-like map from him so far.
This is what they picked him up for, but now Proto trying to make plays. 2 kills to his name, a 3rd in front, just snapping right now. Caught reloading. I don't know if you can maybe just try to get lower there, try and stay alive and continue to make a play. General tries to get involved in the action, but things have slowed down. There's one on the flank. I think that's Cade that came on through. Cade just killed all 3.
That is what FaZe were doing to get points in the first side up against E6. When you think of what Gunless did to get that first dunk, Proto now with overdrive, the Scarab gets called in. That's not what you want to have when overdrive's flying at you. Thankfully for FaZe, they're at least able to stop them from dunking, as we've got ourselves a 2-possession game with 90 seconds left.
Here we go. Time against D6. They're trying to clutch. Can't get away with the drone is Cade. All the kills going the way of FaZe right now. That's going to be 3 down in quick succession. Ooh. You know that you have, what, reactive armor to work with, camo to work with. Sorry, reactive already got used by Attach, so you're just going to have overdrive and camo actually for FaZe Clan.
Still works if you're
That's
FaZe.
what you want, yeah.
Absolutely fine with that. With a minute left, they're burning so much time off the clock here at Cherry Blossom as well.
You know how long we've seen teams stall out here, intentionally or unintentionally. Just very back and forth. Drone does get forward. Now Camo got popped by Gunless to try and make a play, and he's going to have, oh God, I thought he had a dunk, but he gets tagged up from behind. It's Royalty that clutches up. Royalty shuts down Zuma as well, and now with 45 seconds remaining, you're trying to answer back. You've got a Camo to work with.
General, Camo now earned. 35 seconds left. Every kill matters at this point. Scarab does tag him up. Trying to stay alive, only 30 seconds remaining. They've got to go, Maven.
Yeah, and General can't die.
Yeah.
He has to use this camo and get some kind of score. He cannot die, otherwise this game is over. They're coming through, tagged him in front. He has to pop it a little bit preemptively. He's trying to make a play. Does he get to the edge before it runs out? Up and through! It only counts for 1!
It only counts for 1! There's 1 player alive, it's Proto. 10 seconds left, no overdrive to use. There's a player here from FaZe. The drone has been dropped. Can Cade get there in time? It's not going to happen. FaZe wind up winning the game as the drone falls into the portal instead of it being a dub. Wow.
And that, I'll tell you what, man, that FaZe 3-0.
Huge.
Just, I feel like eliminates some pressure, shuts up fans, shows they're right back in the mix of things. Because yes, Ghost has been impressive. You know, they are the 2-0 team from day one. But Enigma6 is very, very good. A 3-0 there is just amazing for FaZe Clan.
Wow. Down to the wire goes the uplink. Either way, FaZe take it in a sweep. They bounce back after their first series where they didn't win a respawn to win both in this one. They're still undefeated in Search and Destroy as well.
I didn't think there was any chance FaZe was 3-0ing after how the first series went. But like you said, it was tough to tell. We only saw E6 play against Elevate, which isn't a lot to go off of. Elevate, where they're going to be struggling to win maps, it looks like, this weekend. Yep. But still, I mean, this is a team that has, you know, top 6 potential on them pretty much every event. If you're talking Enigma6, they've been contenders in North America throughout the course of the year. FaZe struggle off that first loss. That's impressive stuff.
FaZe also get out of their toughest day at 1-1. They now face Elevate in the morning. If Elevate play anyway like they did today, you expect that to be a quick series. Another thing to mention as well, the first match tomorrow between these teams will be Ghost and Enigma6. So you got to have a winner and a loser there. If Enigma6 can beat Ghost, then we can have a 3-way tie at 2-1.
We know these groups continue to get crazier and crazier over the course here of the CWL Global Pro League Stage 2. But we got to talk to the new man from FaZe. It's Gunless with Mr. X.
Thanks, Maeve. And Gunless, first thing I got to ask you, obviously didn't play at Anaheim, haven't seen you in a very long time. How good did it feel to get back on the stage playing today?
It's an amazing feeling. I missed it a lot, missing it on Anaheim. It sucked that everything went down the fall of that. But I'm hyped to be playing with these guys again and getting back into the grind.
Yeah, and then you guys lose the first game of the day, Ghost Gaming, where there are a lot of nerves into that. What went wrong in that series?
Honestly, I think everybody's mindset wasn't really there going into Ghost Gaming. Don't get me wrong, they're an amazing team. They played great. They deserve the win, but I feel like the next rematch will obviously go to last map. I'll make sure of that.
Yeah, and then tomorrow you guys have Elevate to kick things off. They're 0-2. You guys sitting at 1-1. Now, looking at that match, is there something important going into that match you're going to put some more emphasis on?
Honestly, I've been told that they're a really good uplink team. I'll make sure to look at them from that point. Maybe S&D. Our S&D isn't completely there, even though we've won all our S&D so far. I think we can improve on that, but I feel like if we take the first hard point, which is kind of like our weakest game mode at the moment, regardless of the map, we should be fine. Maybe be able to close at the map 3-2.
And then why has hardpoint been the weakest game mode, like you were saying, so far for you guys?
Honestly, just a brand new team. Nobody really knows what to do. Like exactly like with my old team, of course, we had a lot of practice. Everyone knew what needed to be done, what their role was. But with this team going in, it's kind of an amazing feeling because they get to play around me and I get to do what I want. So it takes a lot of pressure off of me.
Yeah, sounds good, right? And it's going to be FaZe finishing the day at 1-1. We'll go to Ben on the desk to recap the day.
Thank you very much, Matt. Great to hear from Gunless, of course, the new addition to that FaZe Clan squad. Interesting to hear him as well. Mentioned kind of the boys are playing around me now. He has a little bit more freedom. Unsure if maybe it looked that way in the first series, but in the second series, it definitely did. Of course, FaZe come out with a convincing 3-0 victory there over E6. I know a lot of you guys kind of said, yeah, this probably is going to go the distance to Game 5, but it looked like a completely different FaZe mode.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever they did in between games just seemed to work out, and I think the biggest thing is they do win that game #1 hardpoint. I think just that just sort of instilled confidence into one another. Again, they did win their first search, but again, their respawns, they looked fine slaying-wise. They just had to figure it out, and starting with game #1, you know, it just seemed to work out very well for them.
Definitely did, of course. The hardpoint on Breakout, 250 to 129 in favor of FaZe, and overall, it just was a performance team.
Oh, yeah, the slaying was unbelievable in the Ghosts series against Ghosts earlier on. They only lost those hard points by a couple of points, so they came into this one, obviously talked a few things out. Gunless says he's comfortable, so that's really nice to hear from him. I feel like some of the other guys maybe are just getting used to performing on LAN a little bit more. This is their first time playing together on LAN, which is a completely different story. So I feel like, I said it before this match started, I think these guys are going to get a lot better as this weekend goes on. The more matches they get under their belt are going to be very important for them to define those roles, specifically attaching Zuma. I think they need to work out on those longer range maps, who's going to be doing what in certain scenarios. So it's just a lot of things to work out in a little bit of time, especially practicing online. So it's good to see them get a good performance, and like we said, that's a lot of confidence that they needed, and they looked really good.
And it definitely looked like they had a little bit more structure as well there, Memo, specifically in this map.
Yeah, a lot more discipline, and I think that might be, you know, just kind of talking in between games, not necessarily, you know, if they're warm going into the game or anything like that, but I think just from the first game where it was losing by 10 and 20 points in the respawn to the hard points to go and win 250 to what is 130, it's a very dominating lead, and I think they had that the whole way through. You know, they started off a little bit slow the first minute, but as soon as they found their foot, they really started to kind of get something going, and I think that was just the structure, the way they kind of rotated, and it just kind of seemed like they were really comfortable. They weren't under pressure, and one thing we didn't hear from FaZe was any screaming or standing up kind of thing, and that's kind of the clay role. Yeah. Is this just a more calm FaZe?
Potentially. We'll wait and see how the weekend develops, that's for sure. Moving forward, though, going into map #2, of course, FaZe with the 1-0 advantage. It's a throwback search and destroy, and FaZe picked this one up as well. 6-3 standout performances, of course, coming from Gunless and Enable. But the interesting stat, again, is the first Bloods Merc, 9 for 9. They win the round.
Yeah, 9 first Bloods. It was 63, obviously, to FaZe, and you know, all 9 of those rounds go towards the team who gets that first blood. So if you play throwback search and destroy a lot, you need to understand how important that is. I think it just deals with the sort of the size of the map, because you get that 4v3 sort of situation. You can move around a bomb site to bomb site very quickly. Just stick together. That's what we've seen. And for me, just Gunless, he plays so well on this map. Like, early in the year, this was E United's best search and destroy map, right? Obviously, that sort of changed throughout as the year went on. But Gunless, when he's able to run around with an E-Ride, and then he has players like Zuma and Attach to follow him up, it's going to be so hard to control him in map versus these guys.
And we kind of mentioned that to start the day as well, TV, was kind of filling the boots, filling Clay's role. We say Clay, one of the more consistent players on the circuit, and that was exactly Gunless in the Search and Destroys today.
Oh, definitely. The one thing we do have to note, though, is Clay wasn't really having the best KDs that we're used to seeing from him, so this roster change was really made to get a more consistent Slayer overall, and I feel like Gunless is probably one of the best Search and Destroy players. I feel like if they can figure it out on Respawn, I never really worried about their Search and Destroy, especially with Gunless coming on. He has that camo, he's earning streaks almost every single time, so playing extremely well. They look very, very comfortable. It seems like the communication's calm, collected. Search and Destroy, especially on Throwback. We've seen 2 Throwbacks, so I guess we need to see some of the other maps first before we make that claim, but they look solid.
2 for 2 on Throwback, Search and Destroy, so they can walk away with their heads held high on that's for sure in terms of statistics. Like you said, we need to see a couple more maps come through and really kind of evaluate where they're at in terms of Search and Destroy. But moving forward, of course, the Precinct uplink was game 3, and FaZe took that one as well. And it almost looked as if they just completely eradicated all of their nerves, Momo. It was a FaZe clan that we kind of know and love.
Yeah, and it started off very strong. You know, when you're 60 seconds in, you're already 2-0 up. You're making more moves to kind of go further. That for me should have really been intercepted, but actually didn't hit at all. But it's that initial, that very start of the game where you start off strong and it kind of just goes from there. Uplink is a very momentum-based game mode. They're already 2-0 up in the series. And from there, you know, it was no easy ride by any means. You know, Enigma6, they did bite back. They did kind of put in a performance. But again, the slaying, you know, Kashirai, Zuma, a little bit slower, but you got Gunless and Enable putting up numbers as well as Attach. And I just think this is probably the new FaZe that we see. You know, a team with a lot of skill on their roster, and something which will, of course, kind of portray into results as well.
Yeah, and for E6, obviously this sort of duo and Royalty in general, sort of your slaying duo. In half one, they played extremely well. And that breakout hardpoint, Kate and Proto were the 2 highest with, you know, the most kills. Usually you don't see that very often, especially in a map like Breakout where General is running that NV4. So they obviously have a much better game. And it was close because of it. Obviously, you can see the pressure that Royalty puts on a map. 27 and 27, sort of in that replay that we just saw. That's absolutely ridiculous on Precinct.
Yeah, and you saw as well the closing moments of that uplink. It was so close. General uses his camo. We're sat there saying, hold on a minute, he's going to get a 2-point play from this, but just wasn't able to do so. The drone falls in for a 1-point play, and then, of course, Cade misses the 1 point at the end, so it wouldn't really have mattered anyway, but it could have definitely been a little closer. But in terms of our overall standings, we'll take a look now at how the groups are currently panned out. Of course, at the top, you have Ghost Gaming at 2-0, 6-1 on maps. FaZe Clan and Enigma6 both tied at 1-1, but FaZe Clan do have the advantage simply because they just won the head-to-head battle over E6, and Elevate sat at 0-2. Momo, is that surprising to you when you look at it?
Not really, is the honest answer. The one thing that I would have thought was that last game, I'm quite surprised that kind of FaZe just came in and what kind of looks like quite an easy 3-0. I actually had Enigma6 going into that based off the previous game. But again, it's that day one kind of thing, you know, was our first series of FaZe the real FaZe, or is it just kind of a bit of a hiccup? So I think going into the next couple of days, we're going to see, you know, what is this FaZe roster really about? How good are they? Right. And I say the same for Ghost Gaming, because again, you know, they've had some great times, you know, obviously when they were bittersweet, and their Friday was phenomenal at Anaheim, and then it was like, hang on a second, where did they just go out the tournament? And they just, you know, lost, I think, to Splice from Red Reserve. Yep. But again, I think the story just continues throughout the weekend. I don't want to kind of cast too much judgment, but I would have liked to have seen Elevate pick up an S&D or just
pick up a map.
Yeah,
right?
Just something.
That's the question. Will they be able to? Of course, we'll take a look now at tomorrow's schedule. Action kicks off at 2 p.m. and it is going to be that FaZe Clan versus Elevate matchup. Then we see Enigma6 go up against Ghost. Ghost in back-to-back action. They play again at 5 p.m. versus Elevate. And to close out the day, we have Enigma6 versus FaZe Clan once again. But that concludes a fantastic day one here at Stage 2 of the CWL Global Pro League. Elevate's woes are still there as they go 0-2. For Ghost, however, it was a very successful day, finishing 2-0. Both E6 and FaZe conclude the first day here tied at 1-1. Action continues tomorrow at 2 p.m. as our 4 teams fight for their spot at the Stage 2 playoffs.